as by day, hitting each spot of the Earth continuously with equal force from every direction.
After light, another muscle contracts. The pupil closes down. In this way, the iris adjusts the size of the pupil to varying amounts of light in the environment. Passing through the pupil, refracted light now enters the interior of the eye. The interior of the eye contains polar cells can be measured indirectly from the cornea. Now the stimulus.
Adjustments in our superconducting field for the incoming population. Confirm the energy screens are online. Resources are arriving from the moon on schedule.
Mission control to Flight 925. Release nuclear waste to the sun.
High-energy protons into the alternating
Security clearance is requested.
Computer analysis of the stress curve shows that...
Transglobal requires further credit check.
Here's what the surgeon...
Beats laboratory to watch water droplets coalesce to form larger raindrops, demonstrating the electrical characteristics of a storm cloud.
Now the two streams are passing through an electrostatic field. The drops coalesce, forming larger drops.
And then, watch in slow motion the exquisite beauty of a raindrop as it falls to earth. The time-lapse camera helps us see things that happen too slowly to perceive otherwise.
This flesh-eating mammal has large, sharp teeth.
mother and 23 from your father. Each parent contributes only half. And in this way, you get the...
He did. To see. Can you imagine our world without light?
The beam. There's no panic yet, but we're expecting trouble later on. The first rush has started.
Stage 5 critical smog levels have been reached. Do not venture...
East have demanded that we go in first. The Rapid Deployment Force is launching a preemptive strike on the Persian Gulf. Of course, we'll have to use tactical nuclear weapons.
Superiority.
The beautiful array of shapes and colors make the anemones and dainty hydroids appear more like plants than animals.
The camera, the amount of light that enters is controlled by an iris diaphragm copied and named after the iris of the human eye, which automatically opens and closes to adjust for different amounts of light. Now, the pictures the eye gives us are not black and white. They're color pictures. And they're not stills. They're motion pictures.
They are all made by vibration.
Then I placed another prism so that the light might pass.
And safe.
The sound of the siren warns drivers. We'll see computers being applied.
Thought that the human mind might have lost the art of leisure. In desperation, the brain was speeded up, slowed down. Tinkering with the brain was popular into humans.
I saw that.
Night and day, for a life.
Depends upon the wavelength of light.
The movement of the trap is incredibly swift. The fly itself springs it by touching and
They pierce its body in
The problem now becomes what makes invisible water.
Miraculous change. At the end of 1 month, these cells have become an embryo, about 1/4 of an inch long.
Doc! The gases at the center of the sun are so densely packed by gravity. The latent work,
when the individual human.
Sometimes they look black.
A certain in the ultraviolet transmitting greenhouse, I made my time-lapse pictures in this basement studio that I called my ivory cellar. The cameras and subjects were under this skylight, which made it necessary to supplement the restricted daylight with various types of artificial light sources. Each time a single phone,
you'll see that it's me.
Up and up until the water vapor begins to freeze. As the air moves up in the cloud, it pulls in cooler air from outside the cloud. As the frozen drops of water begin to fall.
Particularly in the field of miniaturization of memory systems, will make today's most sophisticated machines look old-fashioned and cumbersome. Beyond that, speculation becomes less certain, more open.
There's lots of warm air, so the air keeps going higher. The cloud keeps going up.
Over 500 plant species.
Experience and knowledge as we take for granted. In precisely the same way, we can't imagine our successors.
Bringing a thunderstorm. Quickly the storm was over, and the pale moon sailed across the sky.
type of fiber is just one.
It was, at first, a very pleasing divertisement to view the bliss.
Objects are only visible to our eyes because of light.
Great cigarette flavor plus menthol freshness will do it every time.
I smoke them because I like them. What more can one say?
I smoke them.
Begin with 4 back blows. If unsuccessful, apply 4 abdominal.
Now,
Brain.
The record inside is round.
Which waited the lady?
Which one?
A shock to the
an industrial society.
Thing. And I'm not necessary.
Magnetic disc, and most recently by laser memory systems. Using advanced laser technologies, one roll of one.
It looks inside. Clear picture of the master.
25,000 resistors, 500,000 connectors, joined together by some 20 miles of wire.
There go you. The machine you drive.
Or ear, nose, and throat.
Until the time it takes the ins.
This animation suggests how an explosion on the solar surface can eject great clouds of ionized gas, which disrupt radio and TV communications when they hit Earth's atmosphere. Monitoring solar radio emissions helps warn of such interference.
And you...
There would be some problems.
Called L-DOPA. That in effect replaces the transmitter.
Organizing.
Nerf de schermafdring. Speel maar.
Je doet snel vast. Wat in de kop. Snel is de water. Screw naar de. In de water. In de water. Zoek ze ben maar ze ben niet meer weten me. Ze zelf, met their hair.
2. What music says depends on who makes it and who listens.
Mexico City.
It takes a lot of power.
Slight adjustments in our superconducting field for the incoming population. Confirm the energy screens are online. Resources are arriving from the moon on schedule.
Flight 925, release nuclear waste to the sun.
Inject high-energy protons into the alternating
Security
rate.
clearance is requested.
Computer analysis of the stress curve has shown
Transglobal requires further credit check.
Here's what the surgeon...
Night is by day, hitting each spot of the Earth continuously with equal force from every direction.
After light, another muscle contracts. The pupil closes down. In this way, the iris adjusts the size of the pupil to varying amounts of light in the environment. Passing through the pupil, refracted light now enters the interior of the eye. The interior of the eye contains polar cells, can be measured indirectly from the cornea. Now the stimulus.